Hi, good morning, everyone. Kind of woke up this morning with a little bit of inspiration about um, finding ways to develop the channel, my channel, just as an additional source of income, because my previous job, it was a blessing in the manner that I got paid, helped me pay the bills. But it was tough in a sense where my desire wasn't aligned. I didn't enjoy what I was doing as much as I could. There were things, I'm a positive thinker at the end of the day, and there are things I was able to manipulate thought-wise to allow me to enjoy the job. But my energy level and my passion wasn't aligned where I didn't have to try. I'd rather pick something else that I didn't have to try as much to work, where the vision of the owners is aligned with mine. The things we're doing is also fun versus just productive and paying the bills. I know it's a privileged way of thinking when especially your bills are due, and you're living check to check as I was. But I've developed a new way of thinking over the past 15 years of taking this like metaphysical, spiritual, meditative route to understanding the universe and myself a little bit more, just because of all these insecurities that had arisen when I got into my current relationship, just 13 years ago, because of, I suppose, the fear of losing something you love so much. But anyhow, now I'm at a point where I want to build this channel, and I asked myself, what is it that I have to offer the world in a manner that would allow me to feel deserving of the support of the universe, And one thing that I thought was very powerful that the universe highlighted for me was my ability to relate with the universe, to understand the universe, to the point where I feel empowered with the ability to accomplish anything I want to accomplish. And I feel empowered in a sense where I feel love and connection with everybody, as if God spirit's within me. I'm not exactly a God religious person, but having developed so much energy through this empowering path of meditation, transcendental meditation, daily for 30 minutes to an hour, if not 2 hours or so, religiously over this past 2 months, coupled with proper breathing, gratitude, and all sorts of things that helps your energy level so that your mind can operate at a higher level. And now back to this ability, I've talked to why I see there's so much value in this ability to recognize the spiritual power that's beyond this physical, box reality society that we're in, where squares, are pretty much the pattern of our existence, versus natural shapes in nature, which are more like triangles and stars and, like pentagons and whatnot. If you were to observe the molecular makeup of these, or the atomic structures of these molecules, or just observing, how flowers are, the number of petals in flowers. observing shapes of creatures in the ocean like starfishes, observing the shell, how the shell of a snail is made up. You learn a lot of things about nature that's very, very pervasive all throughout nature, and the cool thing is that we are nature as well. And by understanding those things, by being just simply observant, by being present to these creatures and just looking at them, there's so many universal patterns that can be recognized, that can be spotted if you were to look. And guess what? If you were to look a lot, you're gonna tie in a lot of connections and patterns, which will start to review in manners that will teach you things like personalities, your personality trait, how they relate to how a snail looks like, how a starfish regenerates, how the seasons go through cycles, just like your personality going through cycles. Then you understand things like in nature, how duality works, night and day, hot and cold, up and down, in that nothing in our physical reality or even intellectual reality can exist if there isn't a complete opposite. Because we wouldn't label one thing if it wasn't for the other. Like, would we ever say it's cold outside when it's always just only cold? Or vice versa, when it's hot outside when it's always only hot? No, there wouldn't be these dichotomy, these differences, these polar opposites that creates everything within relatively opposite themselves within the biggest opposite, which is the polar ends of those opposites. And things like that. And another pattern is the idea that things have to always fluctuate between these two patterns. They're called cycles, and it has to go from one end to the other end, one end to the other end endlessly. That's what cycles are. Like the seasons. If you observe nature, the seasons never take a break from cycles. The ebb and flow of the ocean never stops. The ocean tides never stops. It goes through their own cycles. And if you pay attention to just the depths, the distance that these tides reach the sand, and you take measurements and whatnot, you too will learn that it goes through its cycle in a manner that it goes in the deepest during the day and then the shortest moving towards the evening when the tides recede. Low tide. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure if I've explained that perfectly well, but I hope you understand the context, the point of what I was trying to make there. Everything goes through cycles, and when you understand that, you'll learn things about yourself that you can accept and you will embrace versus being critical and judgmental about, and even in battle with your entire life and wondering how come you can't get over certain things like negativity, a bad mood, bad luck, depression. All the lows in your lives are cycles that has to exist if you choose to partake in the other end, which is joy, happiness, excitement. The higher you experience your energy, which are on the higher end, which are excitement, laughter, just whatever kind of major gratitude, I don't know, just basically just very powerful, exciting energy, kind of like a firework. You know, it's like you burn it, charge up, next thing it explodes, boom, all the energy just leaves your body because all of the excitement that you had embodied and burned energy-wise. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see it happen. It's beautiful to feel. It's beautiful in life, because without excitement, God, obviously the spectrum of our quality of life is lower than if we were to have excitement and depression, you know, versus just like something as low as living perhaps in the Tao, in the void, you know, like what the monks like to do, right? They just sit there, meditate mostly, and relatively compared to the regular person, they don't participate in a lot of excitement, Epicurean things, being a foodie, being a traveler, laughing, all, you know, like all kinds of stuff. They're very conscious when they do. You know, they recognize that the energy and the ego that's involved in all of that excitement burns a lot of energy. So they go and they meditate just to restore that energy and that stillness within. But a lot of the monks, they've meditated so much that they can't afford to get excited once in a while without losing their stillness even. So these are all different degrees of meditators. So just back to that aspect of universal principles. So far I've mentioned the idea of contrast, dichotomies. You know, yin and yang, that's what it's all about. The universe has to exist in polar opposites in order to have the physical realm exist. So hot and cold, like I'm saying, up and down, just sad, happy, even color-wise, if you understand color and sound, everything has to have its opposites. And the second part that connects with that principle for me is cycles. These opposites, things have to fluctuate between one end to the other end. Understand cycles, understand yourself. When you choose to be happy, excited, you're gonna experience the opposite end just for balance, universal balance. I know a lot of people find it very difficult to believe this. They don't want to believe this because for them sadness is just too hard to bear, you know? It sucks. You know, when you're depressed, when you're low, everybody knows it's horrible, you know, especially when you're in a low mental state where you're spiraling down in negativity. Guess what? You feel like you can't get out of it, or you're not going to get out of it, you know? But in understanding this principle, mentally, it's a hack in itself, because now that you recognize that there's a reason why it happens. It didn't just happen. That's why the richest people, everybody in the world, goes through lows. The higher they go, the lower they will experience. Don't just believe me. Make your own observation and be open-minded to it, because if you spend a lot of time trying to counter that principle, you will find answers for it, because the universe can support both sides. But ask yourself, will this principle that you're trying to support benefit you in your attainment of wisdom and understanding of oneself, to hopefully one day reach enlightenment, you know, and then release as much creativity and confidence within when you overcome all of these insecurities, these mental blockages. Clearly, everything in your life, all diseases stems from the mind. That's why they're called dis-ease. It just all stems from the mind. If you have any blockages that you don't resolve within your head, things that leads to jealousy, things that has competition in mind, where you feel inferior relative to somebody or something, or even your own expectations, you need to resolve it, because all of these thoughts, blockages, creates tension within the body. And guess what these tension within the body does? They block energy flow, not just blood, not just the water, oxygen, but also the chi. It's like they're all the same. They're just energy at different spectrums. You know, chi is just energy at a level where you don't see, or you can't, or current technology, not that it can't detect, it's just doesn't care to, I would imagine, because it just opens up a whole new Pandora's box. But the Chinese and ancient traditions, like, or ancient civilizations, like the Indians from India, they're, even the natives, a lot of these cultures know about it, because all of these information is really out there like Wi-Fi throughout the universe. When you meditate and you put your mind there simply by asking the questions, start small, simple questions. Like, what's the pattern in the universe? Reveal it to me in my everyday life. And if you're seriously curious and sincerely, well, just want to know, it's going to reveal itself to you in a McDonald's burger, just in anything, you know, because that's how connected the universe is, and that's how connected your mind is to the entire universe. Frequency, Wi-Fi. Because in reality, in the metaphysical reality, my friends, there is no space and time. No space and time. This whole thing is a mental construct, where all your thoughts, all your beliefs, reinforced over time, becomes projected in the mind, outside, up to here, where it gives you the illusion that you're living a real reality, a solid reality. So you look out here, seeing physical things, and you think it's reality, because, well, it is reality because that's how we define it as, but reality in the sense where everything is physical, that's not true. Because just like in a dream, everything in a dream is physical. You can't tell you're dreaming. Is that reality? No, it's not a reality. But you jump back into this dream every time you kind of die, trip, or something. You jump back into this dream, this primary dream, and guess what? You call it reality because you keep coming back here. But my friends, this reality is only so because your mind has been conditioned since the beginning to develop where it's at. If you grew up poor, or with parents who were conditioned by their environment and weren't conscious people, and didn't understand how the universe worked, and how their life ended up the way it ended up, then they're going to pass that on to you, which is ignorance, which is bliss. So there's nothing wrong with that. You know, life goes through cycles where everybody will experience everything, part of the cycle. You know, so if you are currently poor in this lifetime, you can always change that for sure. But in terms of cycles, you can think of it as perhaps you were rich in the last lifetime, you know, in the other dream, and then now you're tired of it. And believe me, being rich, you can easily be tired of it. You know, there's a lot of people, including myself, who had a lot of money and just don't know what to do with it. You know, not only that, you start to feel a little bit lost, depressed, because the motivation to make money disappeared. You know, you take money for granted because it's always there. You know, just like any beautiful thing, your partner, your new house, your car. After having it for a while, everything is taken for granted. So money is no different. And it's hard to recognize that when you don't have money. But the analogy in life is very, very simple. And you'd recognize that you can just apply it to money. If I allow you to eat the best steak ever, or the best vegetable, or vegan, or the best air to breathe, well, not the best air to breathe maybe, but just the best kind of food, would you eat that every meal? Can you eat that every meal? Name one food that you feel like you can eat every time. I'll give that to you 10 days in a row, and you're just gonna not, let's say 30, you're not gonna ever want to eat it again. At 15, you just want to give up, especially if it's 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day. But anyhow, point being, be observant, guys, to where we stand relative to the universe. It's very much alive. And in this channel that I'm building, hopefully to provide as much hacks as I can that allows me to feel so confident in my daily life, despite being in a part of my cycle where financially I'm in the low, to be honest. I'm living check to check. Now I've just given up several projects that I've worked on, well, my wife and I had worked on all together, just so that I can completely put my faith into this new path, which combines my faith in the universe, my faith in following dreams, my faith in carrying a belief, an abundant belief that I find serving to the reality I want to create, reinforcing that belief long enough to continually overcome all the insecurities and blockages that keeps me from just manifesting the reality that I care to manifest. And I know 100% that anyone can manifest, because I've done this partially for the past 13 years. I've just never done anything to this level. I've manifested about 880,000 through Bitcoins at one time. I didn't know what to do with that money, so it didn't really do much for me other than allowing me to just chill for like 5 years, working on other projects. I've manifested, God, as you can see, I've manifested apparently being on The Price is Right and spending that dollar, which is such an interesting experience. If you haven't seen that video, I had uploaded it. With that video, I was kind of embarrassed, ashamed, being a young kid, just having done horribly at the final showcase, or even just during that shopping spree game. But reflecting back, that experience was golden. I won't take that back, and I'm so appreciative of it. But anyways, I've manifested also my wife, God, my partner. I've been with my wife now for 13 years. Oh, I don't think I can manifest a better partner. So I've manifested a beautiful home that I'm living in the mountains of Idlewild. It's pretty big. It's has this guest Airbnb that's pretty amazing as well. Let's see, a lot of friends. I've manifested my new passion in guitar, in singing, that I thought I was completely incapable of doing. I've manifested, I mean, so much to the point where I feel like I can pursue a professional career doing so, and in which I kind of am moving on that path. I've manifested mental stillness, and joy, a healthy family, wisdom, understanding like a lot of patterns in the universe that allows me to look at things, look at people, and dissect everything to the point where I understand and can relate better to them and feel more like one with them. Like when I see anybody, regardless of who they are, what they do, how they look like, or the negativity that has been said about them, their reputation, I don't care to judge them. I know it doesn't benefit me, nor especially them to judge, even if they're a killer. Why? Because there's a thing in the universe called karma. It's karma because karma is a byproduct of your mind's thoughts. If you believe somebody out there is evil and they're going to kill you just because they're evil, then your karma for thinking negative is that you'll attract negativity. And that's why you have that fear. If you believe that these guys, man, they just killed somebody, they're just not killers. They don't want to wake up just to kill random people for fun. They had to do something serious, to get away from something that they were so ashamed of or fearful of. So it was a survival situation that they had to kill. Now, for serial killers, for example, the ones that perhaps wants to wake up and kill people that you would think, they don't just kill anybody. They want to kill a certain type of person, or if a kid go bomb a school, there's a karma in that. I know this sounds scary. I know this sounds wild. But 30 kids coming together at a school, or 100 people in an airplane, these aren't any accidents. These are karmas within the universe. There's no negative, no positive. There's nothing negative or positive about what's happening here. Again, it's all a dream anyways. I know it's hard to believe it's a dream because you're so emotionally attached to this universe, some of you. But again, it's a dream. It's a dream. Let's just assume it is. That's the premise of why I'm saying that there's no good or bad. But if you choose to believe if you choose not to believe the principles or the makeup of the mechanics of the universe as I had explained, then of course a lot of this stuff wouldn't make sense to you. And of course these evil people don't deserve any kind of compassion, but let's just go with the idea that, again, it's a dream. And the other part here is that, again, no judgment here. I go about, like I'm saying, I dissect, I see how reality works. And I'm firm about it through my meditation and intuition that I've developed over the last 13 years. That everyone I see, should I desire to, I can easily relate to. A killer, and a celebrity, a child, whether it's about whether or not you want to relate to them. And then when you relate to them, I'm not talking about just like, hey, cool, I kind of know this guy. No. If I wanted to relate to this person, I will easily become their best friend in a day. Just because I see myself in them. I see them in myself. And I care enough about a person where I would inquire so much genuinely to know about them that they would feel like I would know them more than anyone else in their reality. Because a lot of times people don't even have other people in the reality to care about them. to know, to really be mindful about who they are, what their interests are, what ticks them, whether happy or sad, things like that. Because we're also, independent and caught up in our own world, our own dreams, chasing this social path a societal path that most people are on, this rat race, this hamster wheel. There's nothing wrong with that. I participate in that for fun, just consciously, but definitely nothing beyond that. So again, I hope I can imbue this confidence, this power, and this stillness within you, to be able to achieve anything you want to achieve, especially, most importantly, peace of mind, hope that reality is a lot more beautiful and way, way more bendable to your will than magically, as if it's a dream. And how do you tap into that dream? We'll talk about it more as I am unfolding that ability within myself, and several things that I'm working on to take that to the next level. I've planted the seed for 2 months ago, and hence the daily meditation, and soon it will be revealed to you. But for now, I hope that you find confidence and authenticity in what I've shared with you, and I hope all these homemade videos that I upload will bring a lot of value to you continuously. And if there's any recommendations that you would like to give, such as definitely make this video shorter, cut it up in different in multiple times, and entitle it something different for different parts, play more music, be more funny, I suck at being funny, or what have you, let me know. I look forward to building this channel one subscriber at a time, and I thank you so much for your time, and I hope everyone will have a godly day. Thank you.